I call the Carroll County Board of Commissioners March 2nd, 2021 meeting to order. Please take a moment and silence your cell phones. I call on the County Clerk, Susan Mabry, to call the roll, please.
Chairman Michelle Morgan.
Here.
Vice Chairman Tommy Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Montrell McClendon.
Here.
Commissioner Clint Chance.
Here.
Commissioner Steve Fuller.
Here.
Commercial Under Ernie Reynolds.
Here.
And Commissioner George Chambers.
Here.
Thank you.
I'm now going to call on Commissioner Chambers to lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please bow with me. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today thanking you for everything you've done for us and all that you're going to do for us, Lord. And just pray that the things that are said and done tonight will be in accordance with our will, that be led by your will. Lord, we thank you for continuing to keep us healthy and safe. Lord, we pray for those who need you both spiritually, mentally, and physically, Lord. And we just pray that you'll continue to bless this nation, Lord. Bless our leaders from the nation from national level on down, Lord, that they might be led, guided, and directed by your principles, Lord, and that includes us. And Lord, I pray that things we say and do will be what you will have us to do. Lord, as always, I say a special prayer for our first responders and our military, Lord, that give us the blanket of safety, Lord, that says nothing's going to happen to you tonight. And Lord, I just pray all these things through Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 5 is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as posted?
Motion made. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Motion approved 7-0.
Item 6, approval of the minutes. You each have a copy of the January 28, 2021 work session, the February 2nd, 2021 commission meeting and executive session minutes. Do I have a motion to approve and a second, please?
Motion approved. Second.
I have a motion and several seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed?
Approved 7-0.
The next item on the agenda is public comments. Now, public comments are just that, an opportunity for the public to address the commission with any issues or concerns they may have. All remarks should be directed to the chairman and not to individual commissioners, staff, or citizens in attendance. Members of the public shall not make inappropriate or offensive comments. Any individual who violates the rules of decorum may be removed from the meeting. At this time, the board will not comment, nor will the board take any action on these comments. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes.
My comments are in relation to something that took place at the meeting last month in regards to reimbursement via grant for cost of voting expenses that were incurred in this last election cycle. I'd like to recognize Commissioner Chance for his motion, and to all of you for the way that y'all voiced with your tone and your substance of your comments following that. I think it was an excellent example of how government should work in relation to people. But I wanted to make note of a comment that was made by Chairman Morgan in regards to the county's Facebook page. And to do that, I want to share a little bit of my background. I've been involved and been employed in the computer IT field for starting in my 39th year. For 29 of those years, I was in and around the Air Force doing that role. The past 18 years, I've been specifically working in the IT security field. And based off of training in my current job roles, I am, for all intents and purposes, considered a hacker. With that, I do a lot of analysis and risk of IT systems and operational systems as a whole. And with that, I wanted to express my comments about, or those comments, in three different realms. One, from a business or operations perspective. I know the county is responsible to have somewhat of an internet presence to meet legal requirements and to make that information available to the public in the most efficient manner possible. That information should be able to be accessed readily and should also always be considered the source of truth and accurate. Social media's role is pretty much to extend that access or that awareness in the community as a whole, especially on things that may impact them. This is no different than legal notices, advertisements, posted signs, and such. But although some of those have specific legal requirements, I don't think social media meets those requirements in certain cases, especially like legal notices. So while it may be more efficient, social media cannot and should not be the sole mechanism for getting information out to the county. From an IT security perspective, I can tell you that social media is a useful tool, especially efficiency and communication to the community as a whole. But access to social media platforms carries a certain amount of risk associated with that. Social media has been known in the past to be a source of malware and other things. Also, access by users allows other certain interactions to take place within that IT realm itself. I can say to a certain degree of certainty that the county's access to social media platforms does put the county IT system at an additional risk. That is a general observation. That is not a specific change. But those need to be understood as well, and I'm sure that y'all have understood those in the past. But more importantly, as a resident and a taxpayer, I have a tremendous concern with the actions of social media and big tech companies as of recent. If the county is using these platforms to inform the community, but yet residents are being blocked or denied access to those platforms, then the county can no longer communicate effectively with them. While y'all know most of the big names that are associated with that, people exercising their constitutional rights and not violating any laws, then that is of grave concern to me. And it's something that I feel should be corrected. I will not silently stand by and see my tax dollars be used to discriminate against anyone. I served too many years in the military to protect that, and I will protect it today if necessary. From an advisement standpoint, it is up to y'all to look at how the county is using those social media platforms, and I'm sure that y'all make informed decisions and bring that forth if as necessary. And I voluntarily will provide any advice, knowledge, or whatever to help y'all with that decision if y'all request it. Thank you.
If I can get this girl to stand up straight. My name is Patricia Williams. I am from Bowden. My business address is 120 City Hall Avenue, but my home address is 2417 Lover Mill Road, Bowden. I represent part of a nationwide endeavor called Adopt a Grandparent Project. We are part of the balloon industry, not just in the United States, but even around the world. The endeavor is to bring a smile to people that are in lockdown. Our senior and incapacitated residents of Carroll County, West Georgia, Harrison County have all been locked down for almost a year now. And with their family members, they can, and even if they can see them, if they have dementia or anything like that, they're not allowed to touch them. Like Bowden Majestic Living will allow them to visit on the porch. Even though they've had 2 shots, they are supposed to not touch their family members, and for a patient that has dementia, it causes more upset about not being able to do that. So what the balloon industry came up with was a balloon buddy. They're air-filled balloon arrangements that we make for every resident in the home. These are all made on donations. So far, we have enough for Bowden Majestic Living. We're delivering tomorrow. We have enough now, thanks to the Carroll County Mental Health Advocate Program. I hope I'm saying that right. They came up with a bulk for Pine Knoll. 89 residents at Pine Knoll, so they came up with 21 total. I think they were our largest donors. My reason for being here is that there's about 9 homes in Carroll County alone. I have people requesting me to do some for even Harrison County. The problem is that getting people to donate, getting the word out, letting people know that Adopt a Grandparent program is real, and it's something that the commissioners, the mayors, and everybody else bow to. I'm here. I'm here because these are your people, every single one of you in the county. I want to be able, I would love to do them all, but I think, you know, getting the word out, I have several people, Carroll Spotlight, Miss Holsey, I'm sorry, I don't know if she's here or not, but I'm supposed to be seeing her tomorrow. She's going to put the word out for some of Carroll County. Bowden Mental Health, or Bowden, Carroll County Mental Health Advocates, they're going to do a story on it as well next week. But getting this word out, maybe to businesses and things like that, there's so much business in this county that I should be able to do 18 homes in Carroll County. I mean, and this is to bring a smile to their face. And we also donate, I donate my time, and I also will donate a balloon display for the home in their common area that will last for weeks. I was telling Michelle, I have a snowman in my shop. It's been sitting there since October, like bound by candlelight, it was there. So, I mean, balloons, air-filled, will last a very long time. And we just want to bring them some happiness and some hope that there's hope out there, and that you guys care about your people. You know, these are your people too, and even though they're shut away and locked in, they But I hope to get to know a lot of them after this is like opened up and we can go in the homes and stuff like that. And Carrollton Menu's running a story, Michelle's office is running a story, and Carroll County Mental Health Advocates, they're going to do a story, and we just want people to know about it. So if you go to my website or you go to my Facebook page, West Georgia Balloon and Party, there is one of these posted at the top of the page. If you take that and just even share it to your own personal Facebook page, I mean, it would just help to get the word out. Sharing is caring where Facebook is concerned. So anybody that shares, you know, it just helps the cause. And like I said, I have one more that I've committed to do. But if, you know, I had donations pour in from every business in the county to be able to do every home in the county, I would do every home in the county. I would literally just do it all. but I need people's help, so that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for that. I'm just asking you all to push the word out across your platforms and just say, hey, this program's here, and it's a good thing. That's it. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
You want the buddy, Michelle?
No, you take it and share it. Thank you for the offer, though, but no, let's get it to those seniors.
Well, this is my display. We did photo ops today.
Is there anyone else here that did not have the opportunity to sign in that would like to make a public comment? Susan, will you do the timing? 3 minutes? 3 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is Martina Griffin, and I'm here representing Keep Carroll Beautiful. Our business address is 605 Dixie Street in Carrollton. And I was going to make this trip exactly a year ago and introduce myself. I joined the Keep Carroll Beautiful organization in February 2020, and in March we were in the middle of our litter index, so I thought I would come in April, and of course that didn't happen. So I apologize, I'm a year late, but I hope to talk to you about the litter index that we are conducting right now. And I have a little packages for each commissioner. If you guys are interested in driving through your district in the county, we have routes mapped out. We're basically auditing the amount of trash that is visible on the roadside. So this is an event we've been doing for 15 years for Carroll County. And every year, I believe until this year, our scores were slightly improving. Unfortunately, with COVID and road cleanups being suspended for a few months, and now a slightly diminished roadside cleanup crews, and also our volunteers are not in all the time, I believe that litter on the side of the roads is becoming a bigger problem. Keep Carroll Beautiful is receiving calls and emails almost daily about issues on the road, so I just wanted to come in and say that we're trying to boost the awareness of litter problems and kind of tackle some of those roads that are really hard hit with volunteer labor too. So that was the 1 minute, I hope. We also have a full calendar for this year of different recycling amnesty events. Our hope is to collect 4 tractor trailers full of tires in mid-May, May 15th. We're hoping to get some funding from EPD from their STAR program. That is coming through the county, so I had a meeting with Mr. Charles Pope a few days ago. We're hoping to get that grant for, I think the total amount is around $8,000 to remove that burden from the county and get the grant funding for that. We're also doing 2 electronics recycling events. You guys may be familiar with those. We're doing them twice a year. And first one is coming mid-April, the other one is coming mid-October. So I would greatly appreciate if you could reach out to the parts of community that we don't necessarily always have access to. We're trying to be on the local radio and the local paper, on our social media, but if you have outlets that you could use and just help inform the public that those events are free. You can bring your hazardous materials that can otherwise end up in the landfill, from the landfill in our drinking waters, in our fields. You know, we have a lot of agricultural land in Carroll County. All those chemicals that can be removed from the landfills don't have to necessarily end up in our groundwater. So as I said, I'm representing Keep Carroll Beautiful. I apologize for being a year late, but I'm happy to meet everyone, and hopefully we can work on making Carroll County a really nice and beautiful place to live in. I also brought some, speaking of litter awareness, I brought our litter bags. These are perfect for your vehicle. A lot of the roadside trash happens when you open the door and something accidentally blows out. I know I have a minivan and 2 of those little guys, like the one in the back, so for us it's always an issue. But I hope you guys can read a little bit about our program, the Litter Index, and maybe join us in auditing the roadside trash. So thank you so much. And I will leave this here. There are names on each packet, so
Thank you.
thank you.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak during the public comment section? Okay, seeing and hearing no one, we will now move on to, I need my glasses, but they keep fogging up. I'm now going to call on Commissioner Steve Fuller to present a resolution establishing a memorial waterway in honor of Mr. Aaron Q. Cook.
Thank you. A resolution to establish a memorial waterway in honor of Aaron Q. Cook. Whereas Aaron Q. Cook was a lifelong citizen of Carroll County who was much loved and respected by his family, friends, co-workers, and whereas Aaron Q. Cook proudly served his country in the United States Army, and whereas Aaron Q. Cook was a devoted 60-year Master Mason, member of Goshen Lodge number 71, and whereas Aaron Q. Cook worked tirelessly throughout his life as a successful businessman in the construction and asphalt fields, and whereas Aaron Q. Cook was continually involved in his community and famous for his delicious peaches, and the owner of Cook's One Stop Store, and whereas the Board of Commissioners wants to honor the many contributions of Aaron Q. Cook to Carroll County citizens by dedicating a portion of the waterway on Old Stagecoach Road to be dedicated as Aaron Q. Cook Memorial Waterway. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Carroll County that a portion of Cartbody Creek along Old Stagecoach Road be dedicated as Aaron Q. Cook Memorial Waterway. In witness whereof, this resolution has been duly adopted by the Board of Commissioners of Carroll County, Georgia, on the 2nd day of March 2021. And it's signed by Michelle Morgan, Chairman.
So I'm going to ask the family if they'd like to come forward up here, and Steve, you can present them the proclamation, and Christy will do a picture, but the commissioners will just stand in our seats. Christy's going to take the picture, so she'll tell you how to. Thank you, Cook family. Let me go ahead and get that. Get that, Susan. Before moving into the zoning session, I would like to read the policies and procedures governing the conduct of zoning hearings. The applicant or anyone speaking in favor of the application or request shall be allowed a total of 10 minutes to present their request. Anyone opposed to the request will also have a total of 10 minutes to present their opposition. If there are multiple speakers for or against the application, I ask that you please be mindful to allow the others to speak as they wish to do so, because it is a total of 10 minutes. Anyone speaking for or against the application shall be allowed a total of 5 minutes to speak in rebuttal. I'm now going to call on the County Planner, Janet Hyde, for our zonings.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. The first item that I have tonight is a conditional use at 5316 Smithfield Road. This is a consideration of owner applicant Jacqueline and Kurt Ross' request for a conditional use permit for a special event venue. This is application C21-02-01. This is parcel 028-0019. This is in Commission District 6. Planning Commission heard this and recommended approval. Staff did also recommend approval, and Mr. and Mrs. Ross are here.
Okay, would they like to come and speak in favor of the application?
Good evening. My name is Jacqueline Ross, 5316 Smithfield Road. The property that I own and reside at right now was my grandparents' house, and it was his father's house. So my great-grandfather bought it back in 1935. So it's been in my family since 1935, and it's where I was born. And my grandfather and great-grandfather started a hardware business on that property in the 50s sometime. And that business lasted all the way up until 2007 when my grandfather passed away. And all of that time, there was a business thriving there. And so the community got used to having a business there and having it thriving there and that sort of thing. And so that's what the community on Smithfield Road was used to, is having a beautiful place there and, you know, a thriving business. Well, when my grandfather passed away, his estate went in limbo for over a decade. And during that time, nobody was really taking care of the estate, keeping up with the grounds or anything like that. And so everything grew up big time, and it became just a mess. My grandfather would have had a fit. Like, he never let the grass grow up or anything. And so it looked really, really bad is the point after he passed away, because nobody was keeping it up. Well, just over a year ago, I went through a really long process, and I was able to purchase the property and keep the property in the family. And so, because my grandfather had that hardware business there, he had several large barns that he kept plywood in and piles of paneling and stuff like that. And they're great buildings, and they have tremendous use, honestly. But what we would like to do is fix those buildings up and have that space as like an event center where we could have weddings take place there, family reunions, church events, you know, whatever. But it would also give us an opportunity to put our resources towards something to where we're going to fix up the grounds and have the grounds looking fantastic again. And so I think that would be a tremendous thing that would be welcomed by the community, because the place did look so bad for so long, and it's improved dramatically since we've moved in. But we would like to continue improving it, and we would like to share it with the community as well. So that's what we would like to do.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak in favor? Anyone in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this?
My name's Kurt Ross, 5316 Smithfield Road. This property means a lot to my wife. It means a lot to her family. And we would just love to go ahead and have it restored so that, again, everybody could go ahead and come down. James, God bless his soul, any of his customers, whenever they wanted to go ahead and come down, he'd say, okay, you're a good customer. You can go ahead and go down and fish over at the lake or spend a little bit of time down there. And we're not trying to go ahead and have like a whole bunch of people down there, but it's a gorgeous area. We're not trying to do fishing. We're not trying to do hunting. We're not trying to do anything like that. We're just trying to go ahead and share just the natural beauty down there with the community. And we would love to go ahead and have those buildings again restored. It'd mean a lot to her family, it'd mean a lot to the community, and I know it breaks your heart, honey, but we do need to go ahead and unfortunately take down the building that the store was in, because it has become an eyesore, and being able to go ahead and start up a business would provide us with the funds, or a way to make the funds in order to go ahead and really have that place fixed up. So whenever anybody comes around that corner, they'd say, wow, this is a gorgeous place. And I mean, I'm here for my wife, and I want to go ahead and make her happy. And Lord bless her. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here, anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in favor? If not, is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition? Anyone in the audience that would like to speak in opposition? Well, seeing and hearing none. Do we have any questions for the staff or applicant? Okay, well, hearing and seeing none, I'll entertain a motion in a second.
Ms. Ross, it must mean something also to your community, because I've had 4 of your neighbors on Smithfield, not your adjacent neighbors, but your neighbors on Smithfield, when they read this, that they were glad that something was going to be done.
Yeah.
They had been customers of his, and I would at this time make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Great, I have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed?
Motion approved, 7-0.
Great, thank you.
Thank
Good luck.
you. And thank you for that comment, sir.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to call on Janet Hyde again for our next.
The next item that I have is a conditional use at 1748 North Highway 113. This is owner applicant Tobin Hart's request for a conditional use for a secondary dwelling. This is application C-21-02-02. It's parcel 106-0186. This is in Commission District 3. Planning Commission heard this and recommended approval with the condition that the approval only be for this owner. Staff also recommended approval, and Dr. Hart is present. I do want to point out that this application came to us because of a complaint by a neighbor who wanted to add a second dwelling to her property. And she, when I told her that she had to go through the conditional use process, she told me that her neighbor had a second house on his property, so we had to send code enforcement out because she filed a formal complaint. So that's kind of how this case came about. So, and Dr. Hart is here.
Hi, folks. Tobin Hart, 1774 North Highway 113. Don't know how much information is helpful, but we bought this property about 11 years ago. There was a concrete pad on it. Used to have I think a metal Quonset hut for storage before we bought it. In 2016, we permitted it to build office and storage, home office and storage space on it. My hobby, so I built this myself. Over the last couple years, we have finished the upstairs, put a staircase in, or finished the staircase, built the upstairs, and just would like to use it as a, we call it the cottage. So it's a guest cottage and home office space. We get a lot of visitors, we have a lot of family. I'm not sure what else would be helpful. So, I do have a map of an aerial map of the property with this indicated, if that's useful as well.
Is there anyone else here in the audience that'd like to speak in favor of this? Anyone else that would like to speak in favor? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I'm going to ask, is there anyone here that'd like to speak in opposition to this? Anyone here that'd like to speak in opposition? Okay, seeing and hearing none, are there any questions for staff or for the applicant?
I have a question, Chairman.
Please.
For the applicant. Is this for rental or is this for personal use?
Well, we also own the property next door, and we live in that property. And so our game plan, we're of an age where we're coming pretty close to retirement. Our plan is to move from the big house to this property, and it's about half the size of what we have now. And so over the long haul, the idea is to have a guest house. Great when people come to visit, it's great to see them go, but it's great if they've got a little space for it, basically. So no, there's not a plan for it to be a rental. But we do have visitors that come sometimes from all over the world, literally. And so we'd like to have the flexibility, at least for some fair exchange. If somebody comes for 2 months from Japan, for example, we do have friends, colleagues. So we didn't want to run afoul of the law by saying, but no, it isn't a plan to rent.
The smaller cottage, that was permitted, you permitted it, built it. Actually, I don't know how the complaint came in. Is that?
It was permitted as a storage building.
As a storage building.
And so now we built up. It was about 800 square feet, and we just built up upstairs or finished it upstairs, I should say. So it's available, and we had a structural engineer come out to attest to its, yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing and hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I would like to make a motion to attach also the, with the Planning and Zoning Committee, that if the property's sold, it has to come back to us or the conditional use goes away. I make a motion to approve with that attachment.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I have a question for legal counsel. Based off the applicant's comments that it's not their intent to technically rent out the facility, yet there could be some circumstances where I'm assuming a monetary exchange could happen. From a legal perspective, is there any concerns that that could turn into rental property, looking at the definition if money exchanges hands?
I don't think we have that as a condition on the rental, saying no rental, just the, unless, and I think there could be issues with trying to add that condition. If you wanted to limit it to no rental, on enforcement, it'd be hard to practically enforce that for staff.
It just seems to be a gray area since it was brought up in the comments, and so I'm just trying to figure how do we, I'm not promoting to add anything additional to Vice Chairman Lee's motion. I just am concerned, had he said, yes, we're looking at renting it, what would be the definition between the two comments? So.
I'm not sure I understand the question or the concern.
Based off the applicants, and sir, you correct me if I'm wrong, when Vice Chairman Lee asked, was he planning to rent out the additional home or cottage, his answer was no, but he also stated that there could be instances where people were coming in, staying for a fair amount of time, several months, and there could be, I'm assuming, a monetary exchange. Is that what you were insinuating? And so what I'm asking is, what is the difference from a technical perspective of renting something out versus someone coming in and staying for 3 months and still paying for utilities? And I'm not putting words in your mouth, but it sounded like that's where you were going with your comments.
If I might point out, the zoning ordinance says the conditional use is a secondary detached resident for rent, hire, let, or lease, provided that all applicable health department regulations and building codes are met. So it's not, if that goes into your factor, but if the motion, we'd have to put an express condition if we wanted to say that it couldn't be rented out. And the motion currently does not have that condition.
That would be up to Vice Chairman Lee. I just wanted clarification based off the comments. Thank you.
I'm good with the motion, just if the property sales, either property sales, the conditional use goes away.
Sure.
Okay, we've had a motion and a second and discussion. Any other further questions? Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed?
Motion approved 7-0.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Now we'll move into our financial session. We have item 10.1. I'm going to call on Public Works Director Charles Pope to review the request to purchase a dump truck for Public Works.
Thank you, Chairman, Board of Commissioners. What we had talked about at the work session is we have break 2 trucks and we're planning on replacing one of them with a used truck to not to exceed over $60,000.
Do I have a motion and a second?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further questions for Charles?
Mr. Pope, on some other equipment that we had purchased from different department heads, we had asked you to form a committee. I think that you led those committees because you would probably be the expert within the county as far as vehicles or equipment. I don't know that a committee is technically necessary since you're leading this effort and it's for your department, but in the same note, I was just curious if you would try to follow somewhat of that same precedent and maybe utilizing some of your staff to make sure that it maybe isn't just one individual making that decision, since we have had committee work in the past.
Yes, so that's what we're planning on doing. We have 3 on the committee and 1 heavy equipment service tech to actually look at the truck before we purchase.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed?
Motion approved 7-0.
Okay, Charles, I'm going to go ahead and turn over the DFAX building roof renovations to you, item 10.2.
Yes, yes, ma'am. This is what we had talked about Thursday too, replacing the roof at the DFAX building with the TPO roof. And of course, we went through everything, and our committee chose to go with Ben Hill Roofing at $219,236.
Any questions or comments?
I just have a technical question, as we discussed a little earlier, about like just to understand, or to have constituents understand the need. Since it's a metal roof, you wouldn't think there were holes cropping up in the metal after 20, 30 years or whatever. So as I understand it, the need for the re-roofing is more the joints, not the actual metal structures.
Yes, so that's right. The metal is actually coming apart, and the best way to fix a metal roof is to go back with this type of roof, like most people is going back. All the schools is going with this type of roof, and it's the new part will set down in the seams, and everything will be smooth, and then the thermoplastic topping will go over it. Then we'll come back and actually weld the ribs on top would match the other roof that's already there.
And this would be like the least costly and most effective way to address the problem now.
Yes, sir. If you peeled all the roof back and went with tin back on it, it would probably cost, I think Mr. Goodhead said, probably about $100,000 more than what we're asking here.
Yeah. Okay.
Any further questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Motion approved 7-0.
Great. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, Chairman.
For 10.3, I'm going to call on Fire Chief Tim Padgett to update us on the SAFER grant application.
Chairman and Board of Commissioners, as we talked about Thursday night, we're asking y'all's permission to apply for the SAFER grant to man the two new fire stations, Station 17 and Station 18, the Tice Carrollton Road Station and the station at Jones Mill Road. This grant has to be turned in, I believe, on March the 12th by 5 p.m. So we've been working on it, and we feel like that we're 3/4 of the way through. If y'all approve it, we'll proceed with getting it turned in.
Okay, I'll take a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, any further questions or discussion?
I just wanted to say, Tim, thanks for pursuing this again. Both of these stations serve my district as well as other districts, but I'm glad we're pursuing it again. I did want the public to understand, though, as we've discussed, that when those stations were actually opened, as they have been open now for several months, that lowered the ISO ratings to a point where they will not be further lowered just because they are manned. So the constituents are getting their lower ISO ratings, and that resulting effect on their homeowners' insurance premiums right now. It's not that they have to be manned in order to get a lower ISO rating or a lower homeowners insurance. So I am for manning them, of course, and I've gotten calls about when are the stations going to be manned, but since they're opened, constituents are getting the benefit of the lower ISO ratings already.
Yes, sir, that is correct. As soon as we got the business license, for lack of a better term, from the state of Georgia to open that station, then we actually sent the letters to ISO saying that they was opened, but they was not manned. But they credit as having a fire station within 5 road miles of their home or whatever to get that rating.
Good.
Okay, is there a motion and a second? Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I did that. We're in discussion. Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed?
Motion approved 7-0.
Great,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Now we'll move into the business session. For item 11.1, I'm going to call on Commissioner Tommy Lee to present a resolution declaring Carroll County to be a Second Amendment county.
Yes, this is not a sanctuary county, as the paper stated. This is just a preservation of the Second Amendment. A resolution to declare Carroll County, Georgia to be a Second Amendment preservation county. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Carroll County, Georgia, being elected and representing the people of Carroll County, Georgia, and being duly sworn by oath to uphold the United States Constitution and the Constitution of the State of Georgia. And whereas the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States reads as follows: a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And whereas the United States Supreme Court has affirmed an individual's right to possess firearms, unconnect with service in the militia for the traditional lawful purpose such as self-defense within the home, District of Columbia versus Heller in 2008. And whereas the United States Supreme Court has affirmed that the right of the individual to keep and bear arms is protected under the Second Amendment and is incorporated by the Due Process Clause of the Privilege and Immunities Clause of the 14th Amendment and is hereby enforceable against the states. McDonald versus Chicago, 2010. And whereas the United States Supreme Court has affirmed the federal government of the United States cannot compel state law enforcement officers to implement and administer federal regulatory program. Prince versus United States, 1997. And whereas Article 1, Section 1, Paragraph 8 of the Constitution of the State of Georgia, entitled Arms Rights to Keep and Bear, provides that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, but the General Assembly shall have power to prescribe the manner in which arms may be borne. And whereas section of the Constitution of Georgia, Section 1, 2, and 6, and 9 lists the right to keep and bear arms among the rights of the citizens of the United States of Georgia. And whereas the citizen of Carroll County, Georgia, regard the right of people to keep and bear arms for defense of life, liberty, and property as inalienable right of the people. And whereas the citizen of Carroll County, Georgia, derive economic and social benefit from safe forms of firearms, recreation, hunting, and shooting conducted within Carroll County. And whereas it is the desire of the Carroll County Board of Commissioners to declare its support of the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution and to provision of the Constitution of the State of Georgia and protect Carroll County citizens' individual inalienable right to keep and bear arms. Now therefore be it resolved by the Carroll County Board of Commissioners duly assembled this second day of March 2021 that Carroll County be hereby is declared to be a Second Amendment preservation county, and be it further resolved that the Carroll County Board of Commissioners affirm its support for the Carroll County Sheriff and embodied law enforcement agencies in the exercise of his or her sound direction to not enforce against any citizen an unconstitutional firearm law, and be it further resolved that no agent, employee, or official acting on behalf of Carroll County or any corporation providing service to Carroll County shall provide material support or participate in any way with the implement of federal acts, orders, rules, laws, or regulations in violation of the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. And be it further resolved that Carroll County Board of Commissioners will not authorize or appropriate funds, resources, employees, agencies, contractors, buildings, detention centers, or offices for the purpose of enforcing, assisting in the enforcement of any element of any act, law, order, mandate, rules, or regulation that violate the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. And be it further resolved that the federal acts, law, orders, rules, regulations that violate the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States or Article 1, Section 1, Paragraph 8 of the Constitution of the State of Georgia are hereby declared to be invalid and are specifically rejected in Carroll County, Georgia, and shall be considered null and void and of no effect in Carroll County, Georgia.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion in a second.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just wanted to say for clarification, because I've gotten surprisingly several calls, at least 6, 8 calls probably, or emails about this particular resolution. And just to clarify that this isn't being done to signify or to strengthen our commitment to preserve the Constitution or any amendment, particularly the Second Amendment. In this case, we've already done that, in that we've already sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution, including the Second Amendment and so on. So this is just I guess a largely symbolic resolution to say we are upholding the Second Amendment and anything that might come against us, but it isn't really giving us any new power or new commitment. It's just strengthening that.
Okay, hearing no other comments. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Motion approved 7-0.
Before we adjourn to executive session for the purpose of discussing litigation, personnel, and real estate matters, I want to let all of you know here in the audience and those watching us that I don't anticipate any action being taken when we return. So at this time, so when we do return, we'll have a motion to convene back into our meeting, and then we'll have a motion to close out the meeting. So at this time, so the video will stop at this point and not be turned back on because we will just be bringing back the meeting and then turning around and adjourning the meeting. So I will entertain a motion and a second for us to go into executive session, please.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you.